Hi Engineering Janta, I am Vaibhav Shukla and today we'll be discussing top 8 mistakes that can actually cost you your dream company. Look, whenever I go to schools, to colleges, to students, whenever I talk to them or whenever I go live and speak to students, a lot of times in their queries I figure it out that somewhere or the other they have committed these top 8 mistakes. And these mistakes can not just cost you your dream company but can also push you behind in your career at least 3 to 4 years. Fine. So you should not at least commit them, and if you've committed, today I'll tell you that how to rectify them in time so that you're not pushed behind so much that you can't recover later on. Fine. So let's dive in deep. And the first is lack of practice of coding and DSA. Fine. Enough times I've said coding and DSA is of paramount importance when it comes to the MNCs, especially that lie in the category of dream companies. Fine. For those big companies, coding and DSA is an essential skill. Usually they ask it in every round and in a lot detail. Fine. So you need to be very thorough with it. Also, you should start if you've committed this mistake. First of all, you should not commit this mistake. If you're somebody who's studying in first or second year, start right now. Start practicing. Fine. But if you're somebody who has committed this mistake, do a few things and things can be good for you. Number one is learn basic concepts. Number one. Once you do that, start with beginner level coding problems. Where will you find them? You will find them in top 100 codes of Prep Insta. You will find the link in description. Go to top 100 codes. Fine. But your journey doesn't stop here. After practicing top 100 codes, you can't stop here. Why so? These are just for basic brush up of DSA. Whereas what I am trying to say is, if you want to go into your dream companies and if you feel that I was committing this mistake, what I have done is, don't go behind 500 lead code problems, 1000 lead code problems. No need of it. Fine. I have specifically made a top 150 not out list. Link to that you'll get in description. Fine. And I'll show you also how it looks like. So these are only 150 questions, and if you know these questions in and out, if you have them on your fingertips, you can clear Mang, Fang, anything in this world, anything, any company, X, Y, Z, whatsoever it is, you'll clear it. Fine. So you need to be very thorough with this particular portion, which is 150 not out, if you want to crack some very big companies, because these are not just 150 not out questions that are here, but in this list of 150 questions you have patterns, different patterns. Fine. So if you know all those patterns, so even if a new question altogether different which you usually haven't seen comes in front of you, you will easily solve it. Fine. Post this, there is a problem of skills and projects, and if this is there, recruiter cannot assume that you're good at a skill, number one. So your resume is going to tell that first. But if your resume claims, for example, your resume claims Gen AI and you do not know LangChain or any model like that, you're failing blatantly, right? So you will be rejected. Also, some people learn skills which are non-useful. For example, I still see resumes where freshers, where people who are in college are learning COBOL. I've seen people learning such technologies which are obsolete, of no use. Fine. So in that case, first of all, go ahead. I have made a detailed video on top skills. Fine. To learn. In that video, that's available for free on our YouTube channel. You go and learn from there which skills are good. For example, data science, cloud computing, cyber security, Spring Boot, all these skills you will find in that video. Fine. Any one skill out of them is enough to learn it well. Learn it so good that you are one of the best in the industry. Number one. How do you learn them? Projects. They are the fastest way to learn any skill. Also, the projects that you build tell that what kind of proficiency you hold in a skill. Fine. They are clear indicators of how much you've worked on a skill or technology. Fine. So they are essential. What you can do is you can go ahead and watch our top 5 projects video. Fine, on YouTube. Go ahead, watch it out. There you'll understand. Fine, there you'll understand this. Which projects to pick up for this top skills video. Fine. Now, going ahead, here's one more problem. Not having an ATS friendly resume and not having a good LinkedIn profile. These are 2 problems that can lead to your rejection, to your missing out on dream company, even if you are one of the best candidates. Fine, even if you've practiced 150 not out, I say 150 times. Say you've practiced that list for 150 times and you've done a skill very dedicatedly, you're very good at a skill, even then you might fail because your resume was not ATS friendly. Now, what is ATS friendly resume? ATS is applicant tracking system. So when large companies receive applications in huge chunk, they use this ATS, applicant tracking system, which gives your resume a score. Fine. So if your ATS score is greater than 90, then it is a very good score. You are one of the topmost candidates. Fine. If it is above 90, how to do that? I have made a specific live on this. I went 50 minutes live for the same purpose. You can go to our live section on YouTube channel. You'll also find link in the description. Fine. So in that case, you go there, see the resume video, how to make an ultimate resume, see that video. You'll understand how to make this ATS friendly resume. Fine. Also in the top 5 projects video, I have given ATS friendly resume descriptions. So that will help you out. Fine. Because by far nobody tells that how to project a resume in, how to put a project in resume. Fine. So how to do that? That's a big challenge. Always people have been figuring out that I should put stats, numbers, what should I do while putting the project. So in that case, I have solved that problem for you. What you can do is you go ahead, see that video, take inspiration from it. Don't blatantly copy paste it. Take inspiration from that video and customize the project descriptions in your resume accordingly. Fine. Because it is the resume that will tell your story to the recruiter. Fine. So I told you about ATS and LinkedIn. This tells your awareness about the market. You can showcase your work, your experience on LinkedIn, and potentially a lot of recruiters, most of the recruiters are present on LinkedIn. And if you have a wonderful profile, if you send them, if you ping them your profile, fine, and you're asking for a cold email, you're asking for a job via that, if you can do that, you will have a wonderful output in your favor. Why so? Because if you do a cold email to a recruiter and you have a good LinkedIn profile, you're immediately in the top preferences of that recruiter. Why? Because you're showcasing your work. He can go through your work, right? So that's why LinkedIn is important. Also, you build connections here, and that is a big problem for freshers. They do not build connections on LinkedIn. They do not build connections with their alumni, and then they cannot get referrals, because referrals are the biggest way. They are the biggest way to get hired in the companies that you dream of. Fine. In dream companies, this is one of the only methods that exists. Fine. One of the only working methods, I would say. A lot of times you click on apply button on LinkedIn and it doesn't work. Why so? Because you're competing with the people who are getting referrals for the same job. Fine. So you need referrals for a job. And in that case, while you're asking for referral, you should be very clear that you be polite while asking, but you need connections to ask. For example, on LinkedIn you have connections, you can ping them, you can simply send them a polite DM, short and crisp, explaining you need a referral and your resume for the reference. Fine. So that can help. And while asking for referrals, stay polite. Fine. Don't be very aggressive while asking. Fine. So that's one thing. काट लियो भाई यहाँ से, ठीक है, ये मतलब खांसी बीच में से काट के हटा लेना. Now there is one bigger problem: ignoring aptitude. Fine. And this problem sometimes is so underestimated that people consider that fine, aptitude तो हो ही जाएगा, हम engineering student हैं, without practice nothing happens. Fine. So 3 things: verbal, fine, logical, and quants. These 3 things you should be very good at. You should keep on practicing since day one, because a lot of product based companies, a lot of big companies, a lot of companies that might fall into your dream category have the first round of aptitude. Fine. And if you fail in this, you're going nowhere. You will not be given a chance to showcase your skills, projects, coding, DSA, anything. Fine. So this is usually the preliminary round, and in most of the companies where this happens, 70 to 80% people get immediately rejected on the basis of aptitude. So you need to be very good at this. Fine. Do not underestimate this. And not participating in hackathons, in contests, is another mistake that students commit. Now, a lot of you will ask, will I get hired? Will this particular hackathon contest participation let me to my job? No, it won't let you do your job as a person who's preparing for the bigger company or dream company. Let me be very clear. But this particular step gives you an exposure of what new skills are coming in what way in the market. Number 1. Number 2, this gives you a real hand experience of the fact that there's a lot of different things, or there are a lot of different technologies that you were never exposed to, and you might enjoy them, and they are in demand in the market, apart from those top 5 skills. Fine. Along with that, you find out that there's a lot of world that you haven't seen. You find out that there is a lot of potential in the students that are just 1 year or 2 years senior to you, or sometimes junior to you. Fine. So you realize their working methodologies, you see how they approach the problems, how they do the problem solving. So in that case, this step becomes essential. You learn from the experiences, from the wins, from the losses of others, from the pitfalls of others. Fine. So you see everybody's experience and you superimpose it on your journey at times. So it is very essential while learning or while you're in college. If you're in college, do not miss out on this. If you're somebody who's in final year now, then you can just think that fine, you skipped it, it's okay, you've missed something, that's okay, fine. But now onwards, whenever a hackathon comes, try participating. When a contest comes, try participating. Why? Because these contests will let you know your potential as well, where you stand in the market. Fine. So that gives you a fair share of comparison as well. Fine. Now, missing out on internships. This is one of the biggest or the heinous crimes that can be done to your career. Why? Because a lot of students who cannot crack the interview, the job interview of the top companies, they have a potential to crack internships. Why am I saying so? A lot of people, when 4 to 5 rounds happen, fine, for any big company, some people get rejected in 4th or 5th round, fine. So these people who got rejected, say this is Ram, fine. So Ram got rejected here, but when it will come to internship, fine, where 2 rounds are there, fine, for internship, then Ram can qualify. Why am I saying so? Because Ram had the potential to crack the job interview as well, but somewhere or the other, the lack of practice or something like that pushed him backwards. So it is one's responsibility while being in the early days of college, or even in the last leg of college, do not miss out on internships. Also, they give you real life experience of industry. first-hand experience of industry. You build connections, which is great. You receive mentorship from the actual people who are working in the industry and one of the top people also. If you crack internships in companies like Uber, Flipkart, Amazon, you might have a PPO, pre-placement offer. Fine. So this can transform your journey entirely. You might be placed in one of the biggest companies. Fine. So you need to be very, very thorough with this. Now, going forward, the last mistake is underestimating revision. A lot of people are like, I have done array, I know array. No, you don't. If you're not revising it, you will falter somewhere or the other. Fine. So revision is very, very necessary. You need to be good while revising things. You need to be good when you're trying and you're preparing for some placements. You need to be good with your revision schedules. Fine. Build revision schedules. Give space to revision in your timetable so that when you appear for any test, you do not forget the important nitty-gritties of any topic, which are always remembered when you revise. If you do not revise, you will miss those nitty-gritties. As simple as that. Fine. So this step is of paramount importance. Out of all the mistakes that I showed, this mistake should never ever be committed. You could prioritize it as the number one mistake. Fine. Even the best of the people have failed because they did not revise. Fine. So you should work here. Now, if you have any blockers in this, if you have committed any mistake that you feel cannot be repaired, then you're wrong. First of all, let me tell you, ऐसी कोई गलती नहीं है दुनिया में जो ठीक नहीं हो सकती. Fine. So every mistake is repairable. उसे ठीक किया जा सकता है until unless आपने कुछ ऐसा irreversible कर दिया है जो मतलब with time ठीक ही नहीं हो सकता. Generally, academics में हर mistake repairable होती है. Fine. So if you have done any mistake, you tell me in the comments. I am standing here. I will solve that problem for you. Fine. Don't worry. Also, top 3 comments can stand a chance for getting Prep Insta Prime for free. And if you're watching our videos constantly, you'll realize we are doing giveaways now. We are giving it to the people. So you might be one of the lucky people, because if I correctly remember, Janvi Gattu is one user and one user is Farheen Sheikh, which has recently received this, and they were announced in the giveaway, and most probably they would have sent their details to our support team. So you can be one of the lucky people and you might have this access to 3 months of Prep Insta Prime subscription for free. So go ahead, comment below this video and follow these social media handles so that you never miss any update that's important for your hiring. Fine. Keep doing good for others without any expectation. Good will come back to you. Thank you.